Hello, my name is Rachel Robinson and I am an education specialist with the Early Childhood Education Division at TEA. I want to welcome and thank you for joining me today to learn more about public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships. Here is my contact information along with the link to our Early Childhood Education Division portal where you can contact me or any of my team members with your early childhood education questions related to public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships or other early childhood topics. Okay, so let's dive into public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships. Here are our objectives for our time together today. We'll start by defining public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships and models. Then we will help to understand the benefits of public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships for all stakeholders. We will help understand the partnership process cycle and clarify pre-K partnership reporting for ECDS submission. And finally, I will provide some resources and supports for you regarding public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships. Another important piece to share before we get too much further in is some pre-kindergarten partnership terminology. So there are some terms that are used interchangeably across our state agencies to describe these types of partnerships. You will hear public-private pre-kindergarten partnership, early learning partnership, and pre-K partnership all used interchangeably to describe these types of formal partnerships between school districts and child care providers. You will also hear me refer to local education agencies or LEAs, which are school districts and charter schools, and I will also use the term child care program or child care provider to refer to the child care entity that is participating in the partnership. So what is a public-private pre-kindergarten partnership? These partnerships are collaborations between local education agencies or LEAs and private child care programs or CCPs or Head Start programs. The resulting partnership allows programs to dually enroll children and provide pre-kindergarten and or additional comprehensive wraparound services for the children in the pre-kindergarten partnership classroom. In these partnerships, the students will attend the child care program, but they are enrolled in both the child care program and the LEA. Next, it's important to clarify when school districts are required to seek partnerships. School districts have always been expected to consider a pre-kindergarten partnership with a Head Start program or a local child care program when they begin a new pre-kindergarten program or expand their existing one. So it's always been a great option to partner. But now districts are legally required to solicit partnerships in certain situations. HB 3 has made changes that require districts to pursue these partnerships under two specific circumstances. First is the exemption renewal, and that is the exemption for the full-day pre-kindergarten program. And it's important here to call out or to remind you that exemption renewals will only be available through the end of school year 2022-23. The other time that districts are required to solicit partnerships is during an expansion. So before a school district or open enrollment charter school may construct, repurpose, or lease a classroom facility or issue bonds for the construction or repurposing of a classroom facility to provide a pre-kindergarten classroom, they are required to solicit partnerships. This slide shows some of the benefits that pre-kindergarten partnerships provide for all of the stakeholders involved in the partnership, starting with families. So for families, the benefits begin with the continuity of care between the child care program and the LEA, that full day of care, which means that families, children are provided care before and after school, as well as during the school day. And for some families, that's a huge benefit when they need that longer day of care due to their work schedule. Also for families, a benefit is the aligned curriculum that the program can provide, and the additional wraparound services that are provided because the children are dually enrolled in both the child care program and the school district. And most importantly, the children remain at the site where they have established relationships, because we know that for some of our families, they have had a relationship with their child care provider from the time the children were infants. So the partnership allows them to stay in that center where they know staff and have built community. For the child care program, the benefits start with access to shared materials and curriculum that the school district can share. Also access to shared professional development opportunities that can be shared by the school district. Oftentimes there's an increased financial stability that is created because of the additional funding stream in the partnership. And then potentially there can be increased enrollment because there will be families who may be drawn to be part of that program because of the additional extended day and other benefits that that program can now provide because of the partnership. For the school district, the additional program options for families is a huge benefit, because oftentimes our school districts are limited with the different types of programs they can provide for the children that are only 3 or 4 years of age. Also, a partnership can create an increased enrollment opportunity for the school district, and then with that enrollment, they also have created a pipeline of families. So again, that continuity of care where the families are already part of the school district in a sense before they even come to kindergarten. There's also a potential for increased financial stability for the pre-K program because of the partnership classroom, and then that quality of care for 0 to 4-year-olds that is created because of that before and after care extended day that is provided. So again, the partnership classrooms can benefit all of the stakeholders, and really most importantly, it benefits our children and families. Pre-K partnerships fall into 2 categories, formal and informal. The formal partnership is one where the eligible 3-year-olds and/or eligible 4-year-old pre-K students who attend the child care program are dually enrolled in the child care site and the LEA. The LEA is then able to pass through a portion or all of the state and local funding that is used to cover the costs of their pre-K program to the child care provider. It's important to note that in a formal partnership, the partnership classroom must meet all of the requirements of each partner's regulatory agencies. In order for the state funding to be passed through to the child care program, that partnership classroom must meet all of the pre-kindergarten state requirements. For example, they must follow all enrollment procedures, hire a certified teacher, and provide the high-quality curriculum and other requirements that are laid out within Texas Education Code for pre-K programs. Formal partnerships might be a great option, but in some cases, LEAs or child care programs are not quite ready to move into a formal partnership, and that's where an informal partnership might come into play. An informal partnership is one where the LEA and the child care program partner to share resources. They may share data, professional development, or any other services that can be provided by either one of those entities to best meet the needs of the families and the children who they serve. The students are not dually enrolled, therefore there's no direct funding passed through in an informal partnership. An informal partnership may be a great fit when the child care program does not serve enough eligible children to make a formal partnership feasible. They're also a great way to begin establishing relationships between partners before moving into a formal partnership. Just as a school district or charter school is required to meet all TEA standards, child care programs seeking to partner with an LEA must meet specific high-quality eligibility criteria as well. This slide shows specifically what those eligibility criteria are for each program. So for a pre-K4 partnership classroom, the child care provider must be licensed and be in good standing with child care regulation, and they must also meet one of these additional criteria. They must be a Texas Rising Star 3 or 4-star rated center, be nationally accredited, be a Head Start program provider, or be a Texas School Ready participant. In order for a child care program to participate in a pre-K3 classroom partnership, they must meet the requirements under Texas Education Code section 29.1532, which states that if a school district contracts with a private entity, the program must comply with the applicable child care licensing standards adopted by the Department of Protective Regulatory Services under section 42.042 in Human Resources Code. Texas Rising Star 3 or 4-star certification is one eligibility criteria a child care program may meet for partnership participation. Texas Rising Star, or TRS, is a voluntary quality-based child care rating system of child care providers participating in the Texas Workforce Commission subsidized child care program. The TRS provider certification system offers 3 levels of certification, 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star, to encourage providers to attain progressively higher certification requirements to eventually reach the 4-star level. And here is the link that you can use to find out more information about the Texas Rising Star program and their certification. Now let's look closer at the formal partnership model. In this model, children in the partnership classroom are dually enrolled to provide pre-kindergarten and/or additional wraparound services or extended hours for the children that participate in the classroom. Deciding which entity will employ the certified teacher for this model will determine how the funding is provided for the partnership class. So here are a few of the 3 options that a partnership classroom may choose to follow. In some cases, the LEA employs the teacher for that partnership classroom. And so in this case, the LEA would hire the certified classroom teacher, and then they're also responsible for the salary, benefits, performance reviews, and for meeting the TEA high quality pre-K requirements. In some partnerships, the child care program will employ the teacher, and in this case, the child care program hires and employs that certified teacher and is also then responsible for the salary, benefits, and for meeting the TEA high-quality pre-K requirements. Another option is a Head Start cooperative model, and in this case, the LEA and the Head Start both provide wraparound services, and children are dually enrolled, and funding can be blended to serve the program in that partnership classroom. During the contract development process, it's extremely important that stakeholders identify and discuss the negotiables and non-negotiables for their respective programs. The most significant non-negotiable will be the requirements of their regulatory services or regulatory agencies. Each partner remains responsible for meeting the standards of their regulatory agency during the term of the partnership. It's important to note that some of those standards may overlap. For example, staff security checks and fingerprinting. In some cases, the teacher will be required to meet qualifications for both programs. Some requirements can be shared by both regulatory agencies. For example, teacher training and coaching hours may serve for both programs in order for that certified teacher serving the partnership classroom from being expected to repeat trainings or to complete an excessive number of coaching hours. This slide describes at a very high level overview the funding structure for a pre-kindergarten partnership classroom. So initially, negotiations will occur to determine the percentage of state and local funds that will be passed through from the LEA to the child care provider. And the school district funding will be passed through based on the number of eligible children who are dually enrolled in both programs. The amount of funding passed through to the child care program is determined by several things, but primarily which entity employs the teacher, and then additionally which services each partner will provide. As I explained earlier, an informal partnership can be individualized to meet the needs and the resources of the community. LEAs and child care programs can be innovative in creating a partnership that best serves the unique needs of the children and the families that their partnership will serve. Here are a few examples of different types of informal partnerships. A professional development partnership can provide opportunities for child care programs and LEAs to leverage professional development and training for teachers and staff. The school readiness partnership could be extremely valuable for aligning instruction and for sharing data with the goal of increasing school readiness for the children as they move into the public school setting. A family engagement partnership provides an opportunity for school districts and child care providers to conduct family engagement activities together that will promote the building of the community where the children will eventually move to the public school. A pre-K to kindergarten transition partnership will integrate family engagement and school readiness practices to ensure a seamless move for children who attend pre-kindergarten at a child care program as they move into a kindergarten program at the LEA. These children will be well prepared for success in kindergarten. At the center of all decisions related to an informal or a formal partnership is this idea that there are many options of different ways to serve families and to use the available services and resources in order to best provide for the needs of the community. Even though the informal partnership does not require the financial or contractual commitment that the formal partnership does, there are still several important factors to consider to build a successful informal partnership. An informal partnership may work best when the child care program does not serve enough eligible children to support a formal partnership classroom. In an informal partnership, the children are not dually enrolled, which means that no funding will be passed through from the school district to the child care program. An informal partnership will still require a commitment from both partners because there is planning that will need to be involved, that requires time, and they also will need to work together to create that shared vision for their partnership. An informal partnership is always an excellent way to build relationships to support children before they move to kindergarten at the school district or charter school, that is the LEA. An informal partnership is also an opportunity to share resources and align and leverage efforts around high-quality programming. So within this type of a partnership, all of the resources and other services that are available at both programs can be used together to support elevating that level of quality that can be provided at both the LEA and the child care program. Pre-kindergarten partnerships serve a wide variety of purposes. The overarching purpose is to help foster within the early childhood community a sense of collaboration rather than competition in order to meet the needs of young children and their families in our community. Pre-kindergarten partnerships demonstrate the understanding that all of the children are our children, and we will work together to help them reach their full potential. The beauty of a partnership is that it can be created to serve specific purposes that benefit a particular early childhood community. So there are many reasons why an LEA and a child care program might enter into a partnership, and here are some of the most common. To expand opportunities and options for families, to open new streams of funding, to serve more eligible students, to help the LEA meet the full-day pre-kindergarten requirement, to open communication between school districts and child care programs to align resources and services, and to increase the quality of early childhood programs to build school readiness so that our children are ready when it's time for them to enter into kindergarten. The guiding question for all partnership decisions should always be, what is in the best interest of our children and their families? Next, we're going to take a look at the partnership process. This is the cycle that is used from the very beginning steps of creating a partnership through implementation and then throughout the partnership in order to sustain a successful partnership. As community trends, needs of children and families, and availability of resources are always evolving, it is essential that this process is continuous and cyclical. So the process begins with determining the local early childhood landscape. And once that is done and the research is done to find out who all of the players in the early childhood community in your area are, then the next step is to identify potential partners and beginning to look at potential partnership models that will work for the needs of both of the entities that are interested in the partnership. Next comes building the relationship between those partners. So this is an essential step because this is where the groundwork is laid for that successful relationship. Next is developing the partnership contract or MOU and beginning to provide the services for the children who are enrolled in the pre-kindergarten partnership classroom. Then comes evaluating, and just like any program that we implement, it's always important to make time to take that step back and look at what works and what doesn't work, remembering that the MOU and the contract are living documents. So evaluating the program to see what needs to be changed in order to sustain a successful partnership is essential. So let's go ahead and look at each one of these pieces a little bit more in depth. The first step in the partnership process is to determine the local early childhood landscape to support identifying potential partners. LEAs, childcare programs, and Head Start programs should also connect with nonprofit organizations, government entities, or other key community stakeholders to better understand their early childhood landscape. Some examples of these organizations are local workforce development boards, nonprofit organizations, or city and county government divisions involved in early childhood education, early childhood professional organizations, and or local child care regulation staff. After analyzing local data, supports, and resources, LEAs along with child care programs and Head Start programs can work to identify potential partners, which will help them then define and choose their potential partnership models. LEAs should connect with community stakeholders to identify child care programs and Head Start programs that may be interested in partnering. Consider partners who meet the eligibility criteria, have committed leadership, provide comprehensive services and or extended hours, are in a neighborhood or pocket of the district that is not currently being served, have a common vision and philosophy on early childhood education, or the capacity and interest in creating a joint vision, and understand that partnerships take time, trust, open communication, and continuous improvement. Developing public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships takes time, trust, clear communication, and leadership that are committed to providing quality care and education. So building successful relationships among members of the partnership is essential to its success. After the early childhood education landscape has been analyzed and research has been completed to identify potential partners, LEAs and child care programs should determine which entities meet their needs as partners. Here are a few things to consider while developing the relationship to foster a successful partnership. So when is a partnership a good fit? A partnership is a good fit if the LEA does not have ample facilities to accommodate all eligible 3- and 4-year-old children. An LEA would be a good fit for a partnership if that LEA does not have a 3-year-old program and they want to expand to include one. Another good fit is an LEA or a child care program that wants to support and align efforts to increase kindergarten readiness. And finally, a child care provider would be a good fit if it serves a large percentage of 3- and 4-year-old children who receive child care subsidy and would also be eligible for pre-kindergarten. When is a partnership not a good fit? Well, an LEA is not going to be a good fit for a partnership if they already identified and enrolled almost all eligible 3- and 4-year-old children in their district. An LEA may not be a good fit if they already have ample facilities to accommodate all of their eligible 3- and 4-year-old children. A child care program that primarily serves children who do not meet the free pre-kindergarten eligibility requirements would also not be a good fit for a partnership. Now that we have talked about the partnership process and how to find eligible partners, let's talk about how LEAs are required to report pre-kindergarten partnership data to TEA. During the 87th legislative session in 2021, the Texas legislature passed House Bill 2607. As a result, LEAs are now required to report their pre-kindergarten partnerships, as well as their operation numbers of the child care provider partners. In the past, LEAs have been encouraged to report their pre-kindergarten partnerships in ECDS in the early childhood data system, but the new legislation now requires them to do it. For the first time, House Bill 2607 takes reporting a step further in requiring school districts to also report the operation number of their child care providers that they partner with. Now that we know that school districts are required to report their partnership classrooms, let's talk a little bit more about what the codes mean and how to choose the appropriate code to report. The ECE division has worked to update the definition of each code to clarify its purpose and to make reporting correctly easier for school districts. Within this table, the pre-K school types 07, 08, and 11 can be used to report partnership classrooms. The first code listed, 02, is the pre-K school type code that designates a pre-kindergarten class that is part of a school campus but is not part of a pre-kindergarten partnership. This is the code that is used the most for reporting pre-kindergarten classrooms. Remember that these are classrooms that are not in partnership with a child care provider or a Head Start provider, so they will not generate the child care operation number field. So let's move on to the types that are used for pre-K partnership classrooms. The first is the 07 code, which is used for pre-kindergarten programs that partner with a Head Start program. This includes school districts and Head Start partnership classrooms and LEA grantee Head Start classrooms. Later, we will see how reporting the operation number for these two types of Head Start partnerships differ, but for now we need to know that the 07 code is used for all partnerships between a school district and a Head Start. Next is the 08 pre-K school type, which is a public pre-kindergarten program that partners with a licensed child care program to dually enroll students. The defining characteristic here is that these are private licensed child care providers, not Head Start. An example for the 07 pre-K school type would be the ABC child care that is down the street that partners with DEF school district to provide pre-kindergarten to dually enrolled children and ABC is a licensed TRS 4-star rated child care provider. The last pre-K school type code listed is 11, which is the code that designates a pre-kindergarten program that operates through an in-district charter partnership. The board of the LEA has authorized a nonprofit organization, government entity, institute of higher education, or an existing charter school as an in-district charter to serve the dually enrolled students in a pre-kindergarten program. There are other pre-K school type codes for other private entities that are not associated with a school district. These codes are all for specific pre-kindergarten programs affiliated with an LEA. Remember that if the LEA reports a pre-K school type code for a partnership using codes 07, 08, or 11, they will then be asked to provide the child care operation number for their partner child care center. A child care operation number is a unique identifier assigned to each licensed child care program in Texas, assigned by child care regulation. An LEA can obtain the child care operation number from their partnering provider one of two ways. The LEA staff can contact their partnering child care provider and simply request their operation number. Or the LEA may search for the child care operation number on child care regulations, search for Texas child care webpage. The LEA staff can simply enter the name of the child care provider on the web page to search, and the operation number will be shown as it appears here on this screenshot. In the early childhood data system, the operation number field holds 8 digits, but some operation numbers include fewer than 8 digits. In this case, zeros should be used and entered before the number to make the entry have 8 digits, as shown in the example here on this slide. Some operation numbers will have a series of digits and a dash followed by more numbers. In this case, the numbers before the dash should be entered and the numbers after the dash should be dropped. This is a good time to point out a hint for entering operation numbers for Head Start partnerships. Some Head Start classrooms will have operation numbers while others will not. Head Start partnership classes that are held on LEA campuses or those where the LEA is the grantee will not have an operation number. Head Start partnership classrooms that are held at a Head Start center will be licensed and will have an operation number that should be reported. Finally, reporting partnership school type codes and operation numbers will continue to be a requirement for ECDS. I want to suggest that moving forward, during the developing phase of a partnership, the LEA should request the child care provider's operation number to make the ECDS reporting process much more efficient and easier to manage. For years, the Texas Education Agency and Texas Workforce Commission have worked collaboratively to support pre-kindergarten partnerships across the state. TEA is currently supporting TWC's Prekindergarten Partnership Expansion project to facilitate partnerships across the state. The Texas Workforce Commission has employed 20 partnership specialists and 5 regional supervisors to support the creation and implementation of pre-kindergarten partnerships. This slide shows those regions broken down across the state and also the numbers of pre-K partnership specialists that are available to support school districts and child care programs who are interested in beginning a partnership. You can contact the Texas Workforce Commission at the link that's provided here to express your interest. You can complete the pre-K partnership interest form on their site, which will connect you directly with one of the partnership specialists who can support in developing or connecting you with a partner who would be interested in developing a partnership with you. Also, Texas Workforce Commission is using Salesforce, which is a data system to document the partnership interests statewide and to support the partnership specialists in engaging with school districts and child care programs. So I encourage you to visit their website and complete an interest form if you are thinking about considering the option of creating a pre-kindergarten partnership. In addition to collaborating with Texas Workforce Commission, TEA is also collaborating with a statewide hub at Texas A&M University System. The purpose of the partnership hub is to support in ways that make a pre-kindergarten partnership viable so that it can succeed and be sustained from year to year. They can also allow partnerships to expand to serve children in areas where partnerships would not be feasible. For example, rural areas where pre-kindergarten access is limited, or areas where school districts have less capacity for partnerships. The hub is a third-party organization that can help manage partnerships with one or several school districts and child care providers. The statewide hub will expand partnerships to interested childcare providers anywhere in the state that do not have local school district partners. They will also support day-to-day administrative operations, staffing, and quality improvement efforts for partnerships established through the hub. The hub will also help to remove barriers to pre-K partnerships by documenting financial models, as well as by providing other services and resources to school districts and childcare providers who are interested in creating partnerships. And before we close, if you're wondering about where you can find more information about public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships or data fields and reporting partnerships for ECDS, I encourage you to visit the Early Childhood Education Early Learning Partnership page, where you will find many resources and supports that can help in creating, implementing, and reporting public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships. Thank you for joining us today to learn more about public-private pre-kindergarten partnerships. And as I said before, I encourage you to reach out through the Early Childhood Education Division portal if you have questions, or to contact the Early Learning Partnership page, where you can find more resources about partnerships. Thank you so much for joining us today.